Hello and welcome to the Can't Pause This podcast. Today I'm talking with horror film writer, director, producer and editor Scott Lyus. For those unfamiliar, Scott is the man behind film festival favourite Silently Within Your Shadow, and now the upcoming Echoes of the Past. As well as that, he's a bona fide fan of film, as you'll now hear from the man himself. Hi Scott, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me on the show.
Thank you for being with us, mate. I'm going to start what I think is like the logical beginning point. How did you get into directing? What kind of made you want to get into film as a real passion and a career?
Okay. So it kind of started years and years and years back with probably Jurassic Park was the first thing that really hit me, and I didn't really, I was so young, I didn't really know what it was and how you put that on the screen and how you do any of that, but I knew I wanted to kind of make that what I was seeing, and try and do something like that. And then at the same time, I was kind of falling in love with horror, and you had the whole VHS boom at that time. DVD was coming up, so the early 90s, mid 90s type time, and it kind of then grew into a little bit kind of coming out of school, and I kind of thought, okay, this could be, kind of know what filmmaking is now, I just kind of need to know how to do it. And went off to college, and then kind of like most people, got addicted to DVD commentaries and all that kind of stuff. And then I thought, actually, these are my people, really. I kind of geek out the same as these people do. And just tried my hand at it. And I guess it's up to everyone else to decide if I can make a film or not. But I'll try.
Nice. Were you doing like the whole seeking out the VHS and DVDs, like the kind of rarer stuff and the weird horror films? Or are you a bit more of a mainstream?
Exactly, yeah.
You doing that?
It kind of started off with the mainstream stuff, just because that was probably more easy to get your hands on at the time. But then we had a really cool video store just down the road from me called Flickr Video, and you could get a lot more of kind of the smaller horror films than you could get at, like, let's say, your local Blockbuster and stuff. So I started kind of like digging out a few of them, and it slowly went from your Halloweens and your Friday the 13th to more stuff like the Puppet Master, and then kind of all the way down to them 80s films that were banned. So I Spit on Your Grave, Last House on the Left, and Driller Killer, and all them kind of things. So it was kind of like a really nice education into the whole thing. And nowadays, probably I do watch horror that's in the cinema. I love going to cinema, so I do tend to watch some of that stuff. I try and stay away from some of the stuff I know I'm probably not going to like too much, but I go more for independent horror these days. It just kind of works a little bit better for me. I think it kind of, filmmakers have a bit more freedom, and they can kind of do something a little bit different, and there just seems to be a bit more in independent horror these days than the current stretch of mainstream horror, if you will.
Just my opinion, but I think mainstream horror has gone a bit like, there's so many like remakes and sequels. It's just a bit cookie cutter at this point.
Oh, it's 100%. I could not agree more. I think that is the problem. I think, like, kind of film in general, like every kind of mainstream film, and like I kind of get it in a way, the inbuilt audience, less advertising, but then at the same time, we're not, for everyone, for us people that kind of search out the old stuff anyway, we're not getting anything new, and we can't go to the cinema and watch some really great films, and that is a shame. And even when you've got some filmmakers that are making some really great stuff, obviously, and we'd all kind of be like this when they do get the opportunity to kind of put a bit more money behind them, and kind of go get more established actors and stuff like that. Unfortunately, then they are put into more of a franchise, and they still don't get to make them original films. So it is a shame. I completely agree.
I guess like, as long as we haven't got like the video store around the corner anymore, but there is other ways of still kind of seeking out like the weird stuff and the under, like the hidden gems. It's just done in a different way now, I guess. I did want to talk to you a bit about distribution in a bit, but
Cool.
I guess it's kind of changed how people seek out that hidden stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it has, and I don't It is. It's just a different way. I don't think that's really a bad thing as such. I mean, while films during the 80s and some of the 90s were a little bit better in the cinema than what we got today, you still did actually have to search out, especially horror, like the stuff I just mentioned. You were picking them up in video stores and, going to markets and picking them up and stuff like that. You weren't really, especially the 80s video nasty stuff, that was all passed around between friends and stuff like, you couldn't buy that anywhere. But yeah, it has changed now. It is all digital, which is a shame. If like me, you like collecting stuff and having something physical. But at the same time, actually, from a filmmaker point of view, there's like a pro and con to it. You've got, if it wasn't for digital, I probably would have made one film by now, if that. Like, because film is so expensive and it was such a hard thing to get hold of, and to do that was really, really hard and really impossible. And you didn't have a lot coming out of England in terms of independent cinema back then, because we don't really have the resources that America do and stuff like that. But with digital now, and this is kind of a con as well, you kind of have, everyone can make a film. So unfortunately, you do have so much stuff out there. Sometimes it's hard to find the good stuff. But then at the same time, the genius of that is that everyone now can pick up a camera. Everyone can make a film. And out of that, you may discover a filmmaker that otherwise you never would have heard of. And a filmmaker can get discovered that otherwise may never have been discovered. So yeah, I think the digital model does definitely have some benefits, and I don't think it's changed. I don't think it's going to hell as much as people think it is, but yeah, it has changed. I just think you've got to kind of know how to use it in a way and kind of adapt. And everyone's still learning. No one really knows exactly where we're going with it,
No, I was having this conversation the other day actually, that people kind of still figuring out, okay, how, like, we were talking about crowdfunding actually, but it was just like, it's the same kind of thing, that you wouldn't have crowdfunding again without the internet. And it's just a matter of people still kind of figure out the best way of using it, the best way of kind of building their fan base with it, the best way of communicating, and it's still kind of experiment and trial by error, I guess.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, crowdfunding is like, crowdfunding is like one of them things which is amazing, because if you can crowdfund even a bit of your film or all of your film, you automatically sign in an audience. So you've already got people that are flying the flag for you, and already people that want this to be a good film and are going to drum up the publicity and talk about it, and other people are going to know it. So that's brilliant. That is probably the part that a lot of people don't talk about crowdfunding, is that built-in audience you're going to get, and that's genius. But then the other side of it is a lot of work, and I don't think a lot of people, you can't really anticipate how much work goes into it. I mean, I certainly didn't the first time. For Silent with Your Shadow, I done it, and we made only a quarter of what we were asking for. And then I had to kind of put up the rest of the cash myself, through the independent filmmaker loan and the credit cards and stuff like that. But the nice thing was it just so happened that whatever we done with Silently kind of connected with some people, and it worked, and a lot of people liked it. And then when that come to doing the campaign for my next film, Echoes of the Past, we completely smashed that goal. We nearly made double what we asked for. So but at the same time, on Silently, I was trying to like work at it and get it out there and get people to know about it. But I kind of launched a campaign, then tried that. What I didn't realize, and what I'd done on Echoes, which I think kind of helped the success of it, was I started kind of promoting that campaign 2 months before it went out. I was planning it 3 months before we were doing anything. And, then you're trying to contact people and contact anyone and everyone you can to say, this is going to go live on this date, and just get people ready for it. And so you're kind of like, even though your campaign might be live for only a month or 30 days or whatever it is, it's like a 3-4 month process. It's really like a grueling full-time job in a way to do it. But then at the same time, if you want to get that film funded, then I guess you kind of have to put in work.
Yeah, and it sounds like you treated those whoever contributed the first time, right? Because I guess it must have been a bulk of those people came back for the second time. So
Oh, definitely.
yeah,
We pretty much had yeah, it was amazing. We had something like 95% or something of people come back that funded the first film. So,
crazy,
you
man.
know, yeah, exactly. A few people I was talking to literally said like that hardly ever happens. That's real. Like if you've got that, then you know you've done something right. And you know, definitely not delusional. I know that there was a lot of people out there that didn't like the film, but you know, I was just lucky enough that the people that did like it really liked it and then wanted to come back. But I think part of that is also just make it like if people are putting their money in and people are helping you make your film and kind of funding your dream in a way of making that film, like then you've got to be really thankful for them. And they're like they're as big a part of that film then as any other member of your crew, because then people are not only putting up that money to help you make it, but also helping spread the word and get their, you know, message out there and put it onto their friends and their family and whoever they can help. And that was one of the nice things that come with Echoes this time around, is because we already had a little bit of a built-in audience. We had so many people spreading the word about it that no matter how much I want to promote it, people are going to get sick of me promoting it on my, you know, just listening to me. But then if you've got other people, and especially like horror fans and people that other horror fans know are passionate about this genre, if they're flying the flag for you and they're saying like, you've got to check this campaign out, you've got to, you know, do what you want to do, then I think that's incredible. And that's not like, I'm so thankful for that. And the fact that like still today so many people are like excited about the film coming out and the trailer's got a nice reaction and stuff. So it's, yeah, having that like already built in is incredible. Like you can't really underestimate the value of that audience. And like for me, if you don't have that audience there, then you don't really have a film. You can have something you've made and you can kind of put it out there, but until people are watching about it, until people care, it's not really a film, you know.
It's not the
So
it's not
yeah,
the purpose of film,
huge.
is it? To kind of make it and then not show anybody. So
And then not do anything with it. Exactly,
it's just
exactly. So
wrong.
yeah, exactly. So you need that. You need that audience, and you need people to watch it. You need people to react, and that's why I also like. I never hate on people that like don't like the film or you know don't really think it was any good or say bad stuff about it. Because at the end of the day, I still really appreciate that you went out the way and watched the film, because you know I'm a nobody. I'm not Eli Roth. I'm not John Carpenter. People don't go to watch the film because it's got my name on or anything. So if you've spent, you know, and it's okay, it's only 14, 15 minutes, but if you spent 14, 15 minutes of your time sitting down watching a film from someone you have no idea about, then that's like everything to me. So like, even if you don't like it, you still took the time to watch it. So, you know, that's really cool. And I think like one of the things I've been lucky with is kind of with like the films I've made, there's no kind of like middle ground. It seems people either like hate them or love them, but in a way I kind of like that, because then you're talking about it. I think if there's that middle ground and like it's a little bit vanilla, then you kind of watch it, you go, yeah, that was all right, but then you forget about it, and no one talks about it and no one wants to debate about it, and they don't want to share it among their friends, or you know. But if you love it or even really hate it, then you're going to talk about it and you're going to go out your way to voice an opinion, and that's going to stir up interest.
Yeah.
So again, I really appreciate that side of it. I will never like I had some critics on Silent Lead that really didn't like the film, and again, I went out my way to thank every one of them for like taking the time to review it and write up an article and post it on their blog or their website or whatever it was, because again, I'm nobody. So if you're doing that, that's incredible. Like you're taking your time to kind of show a bit of passion, even if you didn't like it, still a bit of passion towards something I made. So yeah, you really can't underestimate having an audience, you know. And I think a lot of independent filmmakers kind of get really disheartened by bad reviews and bad press, but at the end of the day, like the old cliche saying goes, it's press, you know, can't be bad.
Yeah, I mean, I can only like that's such a great outlook to have, man. Like, because yeah, hate nothing's uglier than like hating on like, oh, don't say anything bad about it. Just like say, yeah, it's just
Yeah,
art
it's not.
generates reaction. So
Well, that's the thing as well. Like I think people forget that like this whole thing is art. Like it is an art form, you know, just because it's not as highbrow as some art forms in some people's eyes. I mean, in my eyes, it is. I think film can And, you know, if you look into it, I think it has changed the world. Film is art, and I would go as far as say, if you're not striking up an opinion, good or bad, if you're not striking up a reaction, then actually you as an artist have done something wrong. Because like you just said, art is meant to strike a reaction from someone. It is meant to bring an emotion out of people. That's why we sit down to watch film. That's why we do something, you know. And again, if it's a bad film just because everything's bad in it, you know, that yeah, there's some stuff to be said about it. But then at the same time, if it's bad because you didn't agree with something that was in it, or because you thought it should have gone another way, or you wanted it to be something else, then again, that's a nice opinion to have, because then that strikes the bait, and then we can, as fans, even the filmmakers, then as fans can kind of discuss with everyone and talk with everyone about, okay, why is it you felt like that? Why is it you feel like? And I've actually had a lot of people that kind of didn't really like Silently, and then when we've had a bit of a conversation about it, they've then gone, oh, I kind of have to go back and watch that now because I kind of missed that part, or I didn't get what you was trying to do there. So I love that idea of it, and I'm always so interested in like hearing people's opinions of it. Like one of my favorite festivals that we played was a little tiny festival in Toronto, and the best thing about this festival is they screen your film and then they record an audience reaction of the film, and they ask questions and people debate it in the audience, stuff like that. And then they put that video up on YouTube. And as a filmmaker, that was so fascinating to me, because people are like reading into the film and seeing stuff that's not even there. But I love that, because then even me as a filmmaker who made the bloody film, I'm going back going, did I put that in there? Did I do that? So it's like, yeah, it's incredible. Like, I love that. You really can't get enough of that.
That's really extraordinary. I've heard like the whole at Cannes Film Festival, it's like if they do walk out, they didn't like it. If they clap, they did like it. It's like, well, that's
Yeah.
quite broad strokes. Like at least you're getting some info, like a lot of
At
info
least
from that.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, you are. You're getting like tons of input from that. And again, you know, unfortunately, you do see some people that like hate on that. Like I've seen a few filmmakers that get bad reviews, and then, you know, just look, if it really upsets you and you got a bad review, just don't share it. Just don't put it out. Just act like it didn't exist. But I've seen some people that then go out their way to kind of attack that critic for doing that, and, you know, being like, oh, you just didn't get it, and you know, you just don't understand what I was trying to do and stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, maybe, but then like that's their opinion, right? You've kind of sent them the film to have their opinion. Like you can't, in my eyes, like how fake is that to send someone a link to your film for a review and fully expect them to think it's, you know, going to come back with a glowing review of it? Like, you've got to know that some people are not going to like your film, and actually that's okay. Don't be scared of that. Like, that's fine. That's actually going to cause more debate than anything if you do get people that just don't like it. So yeah, don't like attack critics and stuff like that. That's not fair. Like, if a critic goes out their way to be really horrible, yeah, they shouldn't do that. But, you know, most people, they just didn't enjoy your film, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, God, I see loads of films I don't enjoy that I know other people do. Yeah. You know, like there's plenty of films that people watch and like, oh, it was amazing. And I'm like, oh, I didn't really like it. So yeah, it's not a bad thing. That's what film's meant to be.
Yeah, sure. Speaking of, we're kind of skirting around like your film and your creations. Let's get into it, man. So, Silently Within Your Shadow is out now on Amazon Prime.
Yes, it is.
Give us a rundown. What's it about? Why do people need to check it out?
Okay, so Silently is the story of a ventriloquist performer called Lucette, and a dummy Hugo, who is voiced by horror legend Bill Moseley, and her boyfriend Jace. So it's kind of like a weird, creepy love triangle thing. And it's basically this idea of her obsession with her kind of career and ventriloquism and her art. And then the flip side of it is like settling down her relationship and like, you know, what's more overpowering in the thing. So like the ventriloquist dummy, Hugo, kind of then is this really weird wedge between the couple. And then, you know, we play about with this whole idea of, you know, is he really alive? Is he really talking? Or is this all in Lucette's head? Is she, you know, imagining this? Is this her? Or is the doll really alive? And, you know, it's kind of one of them things that I don't ever really give an answer on. I kind of know what I intended it to be, but I like many people come away and thought, no, Hugo's definitely real, he's definitely alive. And many people come away go, no, It's all her. So again, I love that debate. I think that's a great debate to have. But yeah, if you're kind of going to check it out for any reason, Sophie Turgis, who is the lead Lucette, and she's also the lead in my new film Echoes of the Past. She is incredible. I absolutely adore her, and I would put her in anything. So definitely check it out for her, because she's on fire. And then obviously Bill Moseley as Hugo, providing the voice for a creepy ventriloquist. I mean, that's like pretty cool for horror fans. I think that's the reason I've done it, because I kind of thought, well, if I can get anyone to voice ventriloquist, I mean, who would it be? And yeah, I was lucky enough he said yes. So yeah, definitely. And then yeah, check it out and give me your opinion on it. And again, if you hate it, that's fine. I'm like, let's debate it. Let's talk about it.
Cool. So people know where they can get that one. You mentioned Echoes of the Past. I think the trailers just hit for that one.
Yeah, trailer has just dropped on YouTube last week. So you can go to my YouTube channel, Crossroad Pictures, and check that one out. Yeah, and that one hopefully will be debuting at a festival near you very soon. We're kind of going for a couple of big festivals off the bat. We're just finishing up our sound mix, which should be done by the end of the week, actually. So, yeah, we've got a few big festivals we're going to try and hit. So hopefully a bit of news on that, where that's going to be playing soon. And that is, I hope, a paranormal horror film like you've never seen a paranormal horror film before. So the idea of it is that our story takes place before a paranormal investigation. So where most paranormal horror films will take you inside the investigation, and especially nowadays hit you a lot of jump scares and false scares and all that crap I don't like. Our story takes place just before the investigation. They've just gone into a famous haunted house where two children went missing about 40 years ago. And while preparing for their investigation, among themselves, they kind of come into contact with a little bit of the history of the house, and then also dive into the history of themselves, and it may not be the house that is truly haunting them. So yeah, hopefully people like that one. But definitely go and check the trailer out and let me know what you think.
Nice. So not exactly a cookie cutter mainstream makes you jump for 2 seconds when something springs out. It's a little bit more than that, peeps. So
No.
go and check that one out. You think it's going to hit on you going to go down the Amazon Prime route or streaming kind of service route again? You think with that one?
Yeah, definitely. Once a bit like the model for that will probably be exactly like Silently. We're going to hope that Silently we just kind of like hit something with that at the right time, and we got super lucky. And I was really grateful that we played like nearly 50 film festivals, which is absolutely crazy. When I like started that journey, I was like, if we play 10, I'll be over the moon, because most people play like 5 or 10 festivals, and if you can kind of go beyond that, then that's super lucky. And somehow I really have no idea why we played nearly 50 film festivals, and it was like a 2-year journey, which I didn't expect and stuff like that. So
it's like a rock band being on tour.
Exactly, it was crazy. It really was crazy. And I was lucky enough to go to a lot of film festivals and meet a lot of cool people and stuff. So yeah, it was really cool. It was like this really weird 2-year tour that I did, that I thought was going to last like a couple of months at best. And then we kind of just keep getting signed up for more and more gigs. So yeah, it was really cool. And I would love for Echoes to do the same. But, as I said, it's very, very hard to kind of hit that many festivals. So again, I'm looking for a couple of big ones and I'll be happy. And then, probably like 6 months to a year down the road, depending on how the festival run's going. Yeah, we'll probably do like Amazon again and, go the streaming route and stuff to give it to a nice, wider film audience.
Would you ever look to do like a, I guess it's kind of old school at this point, but like a physical release, like a DVD, or you like is streaming now? Is it the future and that's the way it's going and that's how
definitely. I mean, oddly enough, like I kind of thought about it and played about with the idea, and it was something that I actually we had discussions about doing that before I decided to go on Amazon, and then we kind of got quite a bit of kind of feedback to have a physical copy of it. And then we've also got, I was lucky enough to get basically asked and then signed up to a merchandise deal for Silently and Echoes with Arcane Store. They're like a movie clothing company, do some like cool stuff. And oddly enough, they've had quite a few requests of like, oh, are these films available on like DVD or Blu-ray and stuff like that? So yeah, I think actually maybe I might go down that road. What I might do actually, kind of like, my only thing of it is like, it's producing a DVD is like the same money if you're producing a feature or producing a short DVD. So I know like some people will be fine with that, but I kind of feel like I'm not giving them much, just giving them like one short film on a DVD. So what I might do actually is when it comes down later in the line, kind of, you know, if enough people are interested, which it seems there are a few people interested in it, I might do kind of like a double Silently Echoes DVD Blu-ray combo thing. And yeah, put that out. Because again, like I said, like I love physical media, so that's definitely something I would like to see. And I know that there's a few independent films I would love to own on DVD or Blu-ray. So yeah, if we get the interest and enough people want it, we'll definitely make it happen.
Oh, nice. Okay. If you want that, tweet and let him know in person at film festivals and such. I'm kind of
Yeah,
I've got my Netflix subscription, but I do enjoy like, especially with my favorites and stuff, just having that like the artwork and the actual
definitely.
thing in my hand. You know, I guess I'm kind of old school like that, but
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm exactly the same. Like I've got Amazon, I've got Netflix, I've got all the streaming stuff. But yeah, something physical, especially for, like you said, like your favourites and them old school classics and stuff that actually you can't really get on the streaming stuff. Like, yeah, definitely having something really nice and physical, and especially, yeah, like you touched on, like the artwork and stuff like that. That's a really lost art, you know. And I
mm,
think in a way, like with music, that's why vinyl has come back really strong. Actually, it's that like artwork again. You know, it's having something really nice to look at and something that you can tell some man hours went into making. So yeah, I definitely think that's a road I would like to go down as long as there's enough people to kind of, you know, make it possible. But definitely it's something that obviously is close to my heart and I would love to bring to people that enjoy the films.
nice man, nice. So I've got kind of a burning last question for you. I'm gonna let you get
Well,
away. What have you seen? It can be horror, not horror, whatever it may be, film wise. This year or lately, you want to kind of throw people out and just be like, you need to check this out, or any recommendations?
okay, cool. So yeah, so there's a couple actually. They're all kind of like they're all a little bit independent. Probably I'll throw the most well-known one uh, out there now that a few people might have seen, but if you haven't, go and check out a film called The Witch, which was released by A24, and that is like I love that film. I know a lot of people like hated it, and there were a lot of people like it. Again, it's just one of the films that really like caused debate. Like, I remember when I went and watched it at the cinema, like half the audience walked out because they just didn't,
Oh,
you know, it just did not connect with them. Yeah, so they just walked out. But then the other half that stayed adored it. So everyone come out talking about it, and it was like a really cool moment. So yeah, definitely like check that out if you haven't seen it, and that's quite widely available, so it should be easy to get hold of. The others that might not be available is there was a film I caught at Fright Fest last year, which isn't horror. Actually, it's a sci-fi film, and I quite like all the superhero stuff and comic book stuff, and like, but you know, like anyone, you can love that stuff, but it gets a bit tiring after a while. If you want kind of a different approach to it, there's a really, really great Spanish film, I believe, called They Call Me Jeg Robot, and it's outstanding. It is literally the best superhero type film you're going to see in a while. So definitely check that out. Then another one I saw recently, which kind of really, really plays up the whole vampire genre and just like, oh my God, flips it on its head, is a film called The Transfiguration. Again, check it out. Super, super cool. And lastly, a brutal film that, as Australia is doing recently, just putting out maybe the best horror in the world at the minute. A little film called Hounds of Love, which is a roller. during that film, but I've seen it twice now, and it's outstanding. It's absolutely outstanding. So definitely Hounds of Love. Check that out. I can't recommend that one enough.
You say brutal, like gore, or
No, 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 no. It's a real life story based on these two. I can't think of. I guess they are rapists. A man and a woman that kidnap teenage girls, and the story is basically about one girl's ordeal with being kidnapped by these people and what she goes through. And performances all through the film are outstanding. The soundtrack is absolutely incredible, and there's just an end scene to the film which just it's unbelievable. Like it's one of them films that just your palms are sweating, you're on the edge of your seat, it's like everything you hope film would be, in a weird, like, it's weird to say that about a film with that subject matter, but it just the emotions that go through you and what you feel during that film and how you feel for that girl it's just so well made. It's so well acted. It really, really just tells such an incredible story. And yeah, it's going to be one that some people will see and it will be a bit too much for them. But for those that can stomach it, it's every like the 2 screenings I've been to for it, everyone that's walked out is just adored it and can't say enough about it. And it's one of them that just really sparks debate. And again, the second time I saw it, I saw more in it than I saw in the first time. And you start looking at characters differently and motivations differently. And it's just, I can't say enough about that film. I really can't.
awesome. Okay, a few things people got to seek out there. Some easier than others.
Definitely.
Come on. We'll wrap up, but people now know you got to go and check out Silently Within Your Shadow, Amazon
Yep.
Prime, wherever else it's going to be. Echoes of the Past on Scott's YouTube channel with the trailer. Go check that out. Scott, is there anything else you want people to direct people to of yours, or anything you want to push out?
For my own personal directing efforts, that's it. But also on my YouTube channel, you'll see a couple of things I've produced. So there's one called The Clown Attacks, which I produced, and there's a trailer on there for a film called The X. And we're also going to drop a trailer soon for a film called Toll Booth, all of which I've produced for a filmmaker called Martin Stocks, who I met a few years ago back freelancing in the industry, and really great guy. I think he's like got some stuff to say, and he blends horror and comedy really, really well. Kind of something that where in my stuff there might be like a touch of comedy, but like it tends to be a lot more dark. Like I would never say I'm on the comedy side, but Martin kind of has a real handle on it, and definitely knows what he's doing. So yeah, check out The Clown Attacks. Like I adore that film. I think he's done an amazing job with it. And yeah, The X will be hopefully coming to a few festivals soon, and so will Toll Booth. So yeah, check it out.
Cool. Keep your eyes peeled, people. Thank you for joining us, Scott. Hopefully, you. I always have problems wrapping these things up. I'm just so used to just rambling on. Thank you very much, mate. Hopefully, people go and you know where to check them out. Scott's on Twitter. Go for it.
Definitely. Thank you very much for having me on.
Thanks, man. Thank you to Scott for joining us, and thank you, our noble listener, for joining us too. If you have any more desire for Can't Pause This goodness, check us out on Twitter at Can't Pause This, and we're also on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, all the big social networks. Check us out especially on YouTube for Steve's playthroughs, a variety of games. There's a bunch of other things. Our website, can'tpausethis.com. Check it out for movie reviews, game reviews, news, a load of good stuff there, and including our previous interview was on there with Ryan O'Sullivan. If you want us to do anything different, if you want to see us do stuff we're not doing already, or just want to tell us how good we are, then please do tweet us, email us, Facebook us, all the good stuff. Other than that, have a good one. Thank you, guys.